The sun was beginning to set when I arrived at my son's home, casting a warm, golden hue across the backyard. Strings of tiny fairy lights blinked to life above the tables, and the soft scent of grilled food and blooming jasmine drifted through the air. It was the kind of evening that should have felt comforting, familiar even, but as I stepped through the backyard gate, a strange heaviness settled on my shoulders. It had been a long time since I felt truly welcomed at Daniel's house. He spoke to me politely, yes, and Claire always maintained that well-practiced, hostess-perfect smile. But warmth, genuine affection that had faded years ago, quietly and painfully, like the scent of my late wife Eleanor's perfume lingering in a room long after she left it. But tonight was supposed to be about Lily, my granddaughter, my light, my last tether to joy. She was turning 8, and the yard had been turned into a dreamscape for her birthday. Pink balloons in the shape of hearts, a bounce house, tables covered in glittery confetti that sparkled even when the wind breathed across them. I walked across the lawn slowly, leaning a bit more than usual on my cane. Age had taken a large bite out of my mobility, but Lily never once treated me like I was fragile. To her, I was simply Grandpa, the man who told the best bedtime stories and carved wooden animals every winter. Grandpa, the familiar small voice cut through the noise of chatter and laughter. I turned just in time to see Lily sprinting toward me, curly hair flying behind her like a banner of sunshine. Before I could get down on one knee, she launched herself into my arms, nearly knocking me backward. I laughed, actually laughed, and hugged her tightly. "Happy birthday, my little strawberry shortcake," I said, kissing her cheek. She giggled at the nickname. "Grandpa, you came. I knew you would." "Of course I did," I said. "I wouldn't miss your big day." Her smile was bright, but there was something else behind it, something flickering, like a candle struggling against the wind. I thought nothing of it then. Children sometimes look worried for reasons only they understand. Daniel approached a moment later, placing a hand on my shoulder. "Dad, glad you made it." Glad, neutral, flat, no warmth. Claire followed behind him, her pink dress sparkling excessively under the lights. She gave me a quick hug, the kind where she leaned in without actually touching me. "Hi, Leonard," she said sweetly. "Everything's ready. Make yourself comfortable." She didn't wait for my answer before drifting back toward the crowd. Daniel followed, instantly reaching for a glass of wine someone offered him. I watched them mingle like a pair of elegant swans gliding on the surface of a lake. Beautiful on top, frantic chaos hidden underneath. Lily tugged on my sleeve. "Grandpa, yes, sweetheart. Can you come with me for a second?" she whispered. Her voice was too small, too urgent, of course. I said, letting her lead me past the tables, past the bounce house, all the way to the far corner of the yard where a tall oak tree grew like a silent guardian. She turned back toward the house, checking if anyone was watching. Her hands twisted nervously in the hem of her dress. "What is it, darling?" I asked gently. Her eyes, bright blue like Eleanor's, lifted to mine, glistening with worry. "Grandpa," she stepped closer. "They're going to take your money tonight." I blinked, stunned. "What? Mommy and Daddy?" she whispered urgently. "I heard them talking in the kitchen. Mommy said you're getting older and it's better if they take charge before you get sick like Grandma. Daddy said they'll make you sign some papers after. The party and you won't even notice." My stomach tightened, cold and sharp. "That's Lily, are you sure? You didn't misunderstand." She shook her head hard. "No, I wasn't supposed to hear it. Mommy yelled at Daddy for talking too loud." My breath came out slow and shaky. I leaned against the tree to steady myself, my own child, my only son, scheming to steal from me under the guise of care. And Claire, the woman who spoke to me with sugary sweetness, planning along with him. Lily's hands reached for mine. Hers were warm, mine suddenly felt ice cold. "I didn't want them to hurt you," she whispered. "I don't want you to sign anything." I swallowed hard. My voice cracked when I spoke. "Thank you for telling me. You're very brave." She pressed her lips together, nodding with the seriousness of someone much older. "I think maybe you should go," she said quietly, "before they try to make you stay and make you sign." Every instinct in me screamed to confront Daniel immediately, to demand answers, to shatter the false facade he and Claire wore so easily. But then I looked at Lily, my granddaughter, my only real I left in this broken branch of my family tree. If I caused a scene, she would be caught in the middle. If I exposed her knowledge, she would suffer. If I acted impulsively, I would lose the only advantage I had. I squeezed her hand gently. "You're right," I said. "I should go, but it's okay. I promise I'll take care of everything." She nodded, but tears gathered at the corners of her eyes. We walked back toward the gate. No one noticed us, not Daniel, who was too busy laughing loudly with his coworkers, and not Claire, who was absorbed in flattering her friends. Lily gave me one last hug before I stepped outside. "I love you, Grandpa," she whispered. "I love you too, more than you know." I closed the gate behind me, the clicking sound echoing louder than it should have. As I walked to my car, a storm of betrayal and heartbreak twisted inside me. But beneath the hurt, something else began to rise, something cold, steady, and sharp. Resolve. Whatever Daniel and Claire thought they were about to pull, they were about to learn just how wrong they were, and what I did next would shock them and everyone else. The night after Lily's birthday felt unusually long. I sat in my living room long after midnight, surrounded by the quiet echo of Eleanor's absence. The armchair she used to sit in remained perfectly untouched, a museum piece of a gentler time. Her favorite knitted blanket, it was still draped across the backrest, faintly smelling of lavender. I closed my eyes and tried to imagine what she would say if she were here. "Leonard," she would whisper, always patient, always wiser than me, "trust your instincts. People reveal themselves in moments when they think no one is watching." And my son had revealed far more than I ever wanted to see. I rubbed my temples, trying to ease the headache that had been growing since Lily's warning. The betrayal cut deeper because it came wrapped in the voice of a child, an innocent messenger carrying news that no child should understand. My son planned to rob me, and he thought I wouldn't notice. Not this time. I murmured to myself, but suspicion alone wasn't enough. I needed proof. I needed clarity. I needed to know just how far Daniel had already gone. The next morning, I made a decision. I would visit the one person who had always been brutally honest with me. #****. The visit to Marjorie ****. Marjorie lived 3 streets away, in a cozy brick house with wind chimes that rang every time someone stepped on her porch. Eleanor and she had been best friends since they were teenagers. After Eleanor passed, Marjorie became my quiet support, checking on me every few days and dropping off home, made soup whenever she suspected I hadn't been eating well. She opened the door before I even knocked, as if she had been expecting me. "Leonard," she said softly, taking one look at my face and stepping aside. "Come in, you look like you've seen a ghost." I sat at her kitchen table while she poured hot chamomile tea into a familiar floral mug, the same mug Eleanor once used during their afternoon gossip sessions. "I won't dance around it," I said, the words heavy. "It's about Daniel." Her expression darkened. She sat across from me slowly. "What happened?" I told her everything. Lily's whisper, the papers Daniel planned to present, the way Claire's eyes gleamed whenever money was mentioned. Marjorie listened without interruption, her eyes soft with grief and anger. When I finished, she reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "I've heard things," she admitted quietly. "Daniel has been asking around the community center about asset transfers, wills, power of attorney. He made it sound like you were already declining." My heart twisted painfully. Declining, that's what he was telling people, that I was slipping, weakened, confused. The insult was almost worse than the betrayal, and he asked someone. Marjorie continued, about the process of having someone declared mentally unfit. A chill ran down my spine so sharply I could barely breathe. Daniel wanted control, complete control. And he was willing to paint me as incompetent to get it. I sat back, stunned. Why? Marjorie gave me a sad smile. Why does anyone with a greedy heart do anything? Money, Leonard. People lose their souls over it. I closed my eyes. Eleanor's voice echoed again. Asterisk, don't let grief blind you to truth. Asterisk, I wasn't blind anymore. I was wide awake. Thank you, I told Marjorie, standing. I know what I need to do. Be careful, she warned. Daniel is reckless when he feels cornered. I nodded. He won't even see me coming. Hash hash asterisk asterisk. The call to my lawyer asterisk asterisk. My lawyer, Harold Rollins, had been in my life for nearly 35 years. He handled my business contracts, my estate plans, and any legal issue that cropped up throughout the decades. He had been the one to settle everything after Eleanor passed. If anyone could help me now, it was him. When I called his office, he picked up on the second ring. Leonard, Rollins said, I've been meaning to speak to you. The tone of his voice made my stomach tighten. About Daniel, a pause, then he exhaled heavily. Yes, that was all I needed to hear. I'm coming in, I told him. This can't wait. Less than an hour later, I sat opposite him in his office, surrounded by shelves overflowing with thick law books. Rollins looked older than I remembered, more lines on his forehead, deeper creases around his eyes. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, he said, folding his hands, but your son contacted me last week. He asked for several forms, power of attorney, property access, bank authorization, forms that would give him control over everything you own. And did he tell you why? I asked bitterly. He said you wanted him to manage your affairs, that you were feeling overwhelmed since your wife passed. The lie stabbed deeper than I expected. Rollins leaned forward. I didn't send him anything. I don't trust paperwork when something smells wrong. A small spark of relief warmed my chest. Thank you, but you need a plan, Leonard, Rollins said, and you need to move fast. I nodded. I already have one. Hash hash asterisk asterisk, the secret plan asterisk asterisk during the next hour. Rollins and I created a countermeasure that Daniel would never see coming. A new trust, airtight, irreversible, and protected legally from manipulation. One designed with 3 key features, asterisk asterisk 1. Daniel and Claire would be entirely excluded. Asterisk asterisk no loopholes. No future amendments granting them access. Asterisk asterisk 2. Lily would be the primary beneficiary. Asterisk asterisk her education, her future home, her well-being. Asterisk asterisk 3. Eleanor's favorite senior center would receive a generous ongoing donation. Asterisk asterisk to honor her memory and to support others in their final years. Rollins drafted the initial documents. I reviewed every page with a clarity born of betrayal and determination. Once you sign these, Rollins said, your son has no legal route to touch your assets. Not now, not later. Good, I said. That's exactly what I want, but that wasn't enough. Daniel needed to face consequences, not just legally, but emotionally. He needed to understand that he had crossed a line you cannot uncross. So together, Rollins and I formulated the second part of my plan. Asterisk asterisk, I would let Daniel think everything was still going according to his scheme. Asterisk asterisk, I would attend the next family gathering. I would smile politely. I would let him hand me those fraudulent papers. And when the moment came, I would expose him in front of everyone. Rollins chuckled darkly. He won't see it coming. No, I said, but he needs to. Hash hash asterisk asterisk the final piece. Protecting Lily asterisk asterisk before heading home, I made one last stop. The elementary school Lily attended. I signed the visitor log and asked to speak privately with her teacher, Mrs. Norwell. When she greeted me, I explained that Lily would be spending more time with me in the coming weeks. She's a gentle soul, Mrs. Norwell said. Is everything all right at home? I hesitated. She might need emotional support soon. Her parents may face some consequences of their own making. Mrs. Norwell nodded sympathetically. We'll look after her here. Thank you for letting us know. Walking back to my car, I looked up at the sky. Clouds were gathering, thick and dark. A storm was coming, but this time I wasn't the one who needed to be afraid. Daniel thought he could manipulate me. He thought age made me weak. He thought grief made me blind. But he underestimated one thing. Asterisk, asterisk, a father may age, but his instincts never die. And a grandfather will burn the world down to protect the child who loves him. Asterisk, asterisk, I got into my car, gripping the steering wheel with renewed purpose. The trap was set. The truth was ready. All that remained was to reveal it, and watch everything Daniel built on lies collapse at his feet. The following Saturday arrived faster than I expected, carrying with it a strange, electric anticipation, the calm before a storm I had built myself. My hands trembled slightly as I buttoned my best coat, the one Elinor used to smooth affectionately before we went to church. I paused, fingers lingering over the fabric, letting her memory steady me. This is for Lily, I whispered to the empty house. And for myself, and maybe even for you. Rollins had everything prepared. The trust was completed, sealed, and protected. Daniel had no legal path to touch a single penny. All that remained was to let him attempt his charade and reveal the truth at the perfect moment. My heartbeat was steady as I drove to Daniel's home. It wasn't fear pulsing through me, it was resolve. When I pulled up in front of the house, I noticed the driveway was packed. Daniel had invited guests, distant relatives, friends, co-workers. More eyes, more witnesses. Asterisk good, asterisk I thought. The more people, the better. Hash hash, asterisk asterisk. A cold welcome, asterisk asterisk. Claire answered the door, wearing a bright green dress that shimmered unnecessarily in the morning sunlight. Her smile was wide, but didn't touch her eyes. Leonard, you made it, she said, surprised but trying not to show it. Come in, everyone's in the living room. Her sugary voice felt like nails on glass. Inside, Daniel approached quickly, too quickly, as if afraid I would leave again before he could corner me. Dad, he said, clapping my shoulder with a grip too firm to be affectionate. Glad you're here. We have a few things to go over today. Just paperwork, nothing big, but it's important, you understand. There it was, the rehearsed line Lily had warned me about. I smiled politely, the kind of smile that people expect from a sweet old man. All right, Daniel, I said softly. Lead the way. His shoulders relaxed, misreading my calmness as compliance. Lily stood near the staircase, her small hands gripping the banister. Her eyes met mine with a mixture of hope and fear. I gave her a tiny wink. She exhaled shakily, but returned a small, trusting smile. Hash hash asterisk asterisk, the trap asterisk asterisk Daniel led me into the living room, where a stack of documents lay arranged neatly on the coffee table. Legal, looking pages organized in folders, each marked with colorful sticky tabs. It would have impressed anyone unfamiliar with law. He spent a lot of time preparing this, Claire added proudly, folding her arms. I resisted the urge to laugh. Daniel gestured at the papers. Dad, these forms will help us manage everything efficiently. We just want what's best for you. You know, in case something happens. He said it gently, but his eyes gleamed with impatience. Claire hovered behind him like a shadow, watching my every move. I leaned forward slowly and picked up the first document. My hands didn't shake, not anymore. It was exactly what Rollins and I expected. A power of attorney form granting Daniel full control over my finances. The second document attempted to override my existing will. The third was worse, an informal agreement stating that I was feeling overwhelmed and needed Daniel's management of my estate. I lifted my eyes and met Daniel's. Is this really what you think is best? I asked calmly. Daniel nodded quickly, relieved that I wasn't shouting or questioning yet. Of course, we just want to help. It's not safe for you to handle everything alone. You forget things sometimes. No, I interrupted gently. I remember quite a lot. A flicker of uncertainty passed over his face. I placed the papers back on the table and sat back in my chair. Before I sign anything, I said, there's something I want to talk about. Daniel forced a smile. Sure, Dad, anything. Claire perched on the arm of the sofa nervously. Guests drifted closer, sensing tension but pretending not to stare. Lily, standing near the stairs, didn't move a muscle. Hash hash asterisk asterisk, the beginning of the end asterisk asterisk, I want to talk. I said slowly, about last weekend, about the party. Daniel stiffened. Claire blinked rapidly. What about it? Daniel asked. I've been thinking a lot. I continued about your mother, about how she always believed family should protect each other. I paused. Let the silence thicken, and about how she would feel if she knew her son was plotting behind my back. Daniel's face drained of color. Claire's lips parted in tiny shock. Dad, he said quickly, I don't know what Lily told you, but I raised a hand. Quiet but commanding, the room froze. This isn't about Lily, I said. This is about you. His mouth opened, closed. He looked like a child caught with stolen candy. I reached into my coat pocket. Daniel's eyes lit up. He thought I was pulling out a pen. But instead, I pulled out a large sealed envelope and placed it carefully on the coffee table. What's that? Claire whispered. This, I said, is the truth. Hash hash asterisk asterisk, the reveal asterisk asterisk. I stood, the cane in my right hand giving me balance, but also, in this moment, incredible presence. Daniel, I said clearly, projecting my voice so every person in the room could hear, you asked my lawyer for documents to take control of my estate. You tried to make it look like I approved it. Whispers erupted behind us. That's not. Dad, your misunderstandings. No. I said sharply. I'm finally understanding everything. I looked at him with a sadness that felt bone deep. You wanted to declare me incompetent. You wanted to drain everything your mother and I built. You wanted control, not out of love, but out of greed. Daniel's face twisted. Dad, stop. People are watching. Yes, I said softly, and they should. I turned to the envelope. In here, I said, tapping it, is proof that I already secured everything. My assets, my accounts, my property, all transferred to an irrevocable trust. Claire stumbled backward. No, that's not possible. Daniel lunged forward, grabbing the envelope with trembling hands. He tore it open and scanned the documents inside. His face collapsed. No, this can't be real. This can't, it is. I said firmly, you have no access, no claim, no path to control anything of mine ever again. He dropped the papers onto the floor, breathing too fast. Claire's voice broke. Then what about us? What do we get? I looked at her, then at Daniel, and the heartbreak transformed into a colder, truer emotion. Finality. You get nothing, I said simply, not a dime. The room went silent, frozen in shock. But Lily. I continued, turning toward her. She gets everything she needs for her future. And your mother's favorite senior center will be funded for years. Lily's small face lit up with relief and something else, pride. Hash hash asterisk asterisk, the collapse asterisk asterisk. Daniel sank into the couch, burying his hands in his hair. He looked like a man who had just watched his entire world crumble, because he had. You ruined this family. He spat suddenly, looking up at me with fury. No, I replied, emotion tightening my chest. You did, the moment you tried to steal from your own father. Claire fled the room, tears streaming down her face, though whether from guilt or lost wealth, I couldn't say. The guests murmured, exchanging looks of disbelief and judgment. The curtain had been pulled back, and Daniel's carefully crafted facade had been shattered. I turned to leave. My cane tapped softly against the hardwood floor. As I reached the doorway, I paused and looked back just once. Lily ran to me, wrapping her arms around my waist. I held her tight, breathing in the innocence that had saved me. Together, we walked out of that house, leaving behind the lies, the greed, and the man who had once been my son. The air outside Daniel's house felt fresher than anything I had breathed in months, maybe years. As I stepped off the porch, Lily's tiny hand still wrapped around mine, I realized the weight on my chest. The fear, the doubt, the betrayal had finally loosened. We walked to my car slowly, her skipping every few steps to keep up with my stride. "Grandpa," she whispered, as if the world might overhear her courage, "I'm so glad you're okay." I squeezed her hand. "I'm better than okay, sweetheart. I'm free." But even as I said it, I felt the ache of something deeper, the loss of a son I no longer recognized. The wound was still fresh, but the bandage, Lily's bravery, held it together enough for me to breathe again. Once I got her buckled into the back seat, she leaned forward and whispered, "Are Mommy and Daddy gonna be mad at me?" And my heart cracked. I turned around, cupped her cheek, and said gently, "They don't know you told me anything, and they won't. You didn't do anything wrong. You protected me. You did what good people do." She nodded, though I could see the worry lingering in her eyes. "Look at me, Lily," I said softly. She did. "I'm proud of you, and no matter what happens, I'll always be right here. You're safe." Her smile returned, small but genuine. And for the first time in a long while, I believed my own words. ****, the weeks after the confrontation, ***, if Daniel and Claire were angry, embarrassed, or panicked in the days following the confrontation, neither of them dared come to my home. They didn't call, they didn't write, not even a text message, but that silence, it was its own confession. Instead, I received a phone call from Rollins 2 days later. "It's done," he said. "The trust is locked, the paperwork is filed, and the county reviewed the attempted fraudulent transfer documents we submitted. They're opening an inquiry." "Good," I said. My voice didn't tremble. He hesitated. "They may face consequences." "Consequences," I replied, "are the last gifts some people ever receive." And yet, despite everything, part of me grieved. You don't raise a child, teach him to ride a bike, sew his school uniforms, hold him during thunderstorms, and suddenly stop loving him. But love isn't blind, and I was finally done being blind. #****, Lily's growing courage, ****, Lily began visiting more often. At first, it was just weekends, then weeknights, then entire stretches of days when Claire claimed she was too busy, and Daniel had work emergencies. Each time, Lily arrived with a little backpack and a hopeful smile. "Grandpa, can we make pancakes again? Grandpa, can I sleep in the spare room? Grandpa, can we read Grandma's stories?" She filled my quiet house with warmth I thought I'd lost forever. Her laughter echoed down halls that had been silent since Eleanor passed. On Wednesday evenings, she helped me water Eleanor's garden sunflowers, lilies, and a stubborn rose bush that refused to die no matter how harsh the winters were. One night after we finished watering, she sat beside me on the porch swing. "Grandpa," she said, "are Mommy and Daddy still mad?" I chose my words slowly. "I think they're confused and scared and embarrassed, but that's not your burden to carry." She leaned her head on my shoulder. "Mom has been really quiet, Daddy too, and they keep whispering in the kitchen." I kissed the top of her head. "Sometimes grown-ups whisper when they don't want to face the truth." "Are you mad at them?" she asked. I sighed. "I'm disappointed, but I'm also grateful because what they did showed me who they really are. And it showed me who you really are. Me. You were brave, Lily, very brave. You told the truth even though it scared you." She smiled, and for a moment she looked so much like Eleanor, my chest tightened. ****, Daniel's downfall, ***, by the end of the month. The investigation into Daniel's attempted forgery and financial manipulation was in full swing. A stern official from the county office called me. "Mr. Hartman, we've reviewed the documents. Your son attempted to misrepresent your mental capacity and sought unauthorized legal control of your estate. There will be consequences." I thanked them politely, though internally, a mix of emotions tangled inside me. Justice was moving. Slowly but moving. Daniel finally reached out a week later. He didn't visit. He didn't call. He sent a single text. Asterisk, Dad, can we talk? Asterisk, I stared at it for a long time. Elinor would have urged compassion, but compassion without accountability becomes permission. I typed a short reply. Asterisk, when you're ready to apologize without excuses, I'll listen. Asterisk, he didn't respond. Hash hash asterisk asterisk, a new legacy asterisk asterisk, one Saturday morning. I took Lily to the senior center that Elinor had loved. The director met us at the entrance with a warm smile. Mr. Hartman, we just received notice of a generous donation. Thank you. It'll help us renovate the art room and the therapy wing. That was Elinor's favorite place, I said, and Lily's too, soon enough. Lily beamed and grabbed my hand. Grandma would love this. The director bent down to Lily. Your grandpa's gift is going to help so many people. Lily's chest puffed proudly. He's the best person I know. My throat tightened. I had taken damage these past months, but moments like that repaired pieces I thought were gone forever. Later that afternoon, Lily and I planted a new row of lilies in Elinor's memory. Grandpa, she said as she patted soil over the roots, does this mean we're starting over? A tear slipped down my cheek before I could hide it. Yes, sweetheart. I whispered, we're starting over. Hash hash asterisk asterisk, the sweetest revenge asterisk asterisk, revenge is usually thought of as fire, rage, destruction, punishment. But the sweetest revenge isn't about burning others. It's about healing yourself. Daniel and Claire didn't lose money that day. They lost something far more valuable. Asterisk asterisk access, trust, the easy comfort of privilege. The illusion that they could manipulate me. Asterisk asterisk, they were left to face themselves and the emptiness behind their greed. Meanwhile, Lily and I rebuilt something they never understood. Love, honesty, family. One evening after dinner, Lily curled up beside me on the sofa. Grandpa, are you happy now? I looked down at her, this brave little soul who saved me when I thought nothing could. Yes, I said softly, because I have you. She smiled, snuggled closer, and drifted off to sleep while I held her. A small, warm weight that reminded me the world still had good in it. For the first time since Elinor passed, my house felt full again, full of hope, full of future, full of new beginnings. Hash hash asterisk asterisk, a final reflection asterisk asterisk, sweet revenge doesn't come from hurting the ones who hurt you. It comes from reclaiming the life they tried to steal. Daniel tried to take my money. He tried to take my dignity. He tried to take advantage of my grief. But he failed because love, Lily's love, revealed the truth, and in the end, my new beginning wasn't built on bitterness. It was built on gratitude and the brave whisper of an 8-year old girl, asterisk asterisk, Grandpa, my parents will take your money after the party today, asterisk asterisk, that whisper changed everything. And because of it, everything changed for the better.